What's up, guys, and welcome back to the doctor's office. I am Dr. Carrie Knight, here to give you proper diagnosis and prognosis and everything comics and comic book characters. I found another one. It is another comic book about another serial killer, and I just had to bring it to you guys because obsession. Okay, so this is called Buried Long Ago, and it starts off with this story about an ogress, and a knight and a fairy are trying to like fight her. The knight goes into like these woods and disappears. The fairy goes back to the castle to talk to the knight's brother, who I believe is like the king, and then they go to save the knight, and the forest had burned down, so they don't see anybody there. They don't see the knight, they don't see the ogress, right? And the daughter, Jessie, who's reading the story, she's like, I guess that's the end. And her sisters are like, boo, that's a bad book, terrible. So they meet their absolutely terrifying looking fucking mother at the train station. I'm just gonna say this. If my mother ever showed up to the train station looking like this, I would get back on the train. I would get, because why? You look scary, right? You look like we're all about to die here now. And so she's like, oh, my girls, I'm so happy to see you. Are you? So on the way back, she's like, your stepfather's name, and you're going to call him Papa, and all this, and she's just like, okay. And like her sisters are back there reading books, and she's like, thank you for the books, they were amazing, they really helped pass the time, the girls loved them, I loved them, and she's like, yep, and we're all going to live on this farm, and we're all going to be happy. Okay, sure. So she brings them to the farm, and when they get there, they're like, they greet him as Papa, and he's like super excited. He's like, your mom told you to say that, didn't you, or didn't she? And they're just like, I mean technically, yeah, but he's like, oh, I haven't heard it in such a long time, it's so good to just hear it again, and I think you guys are gonna love it here. Why don't you guys take like a trot around, just don't go too far. And so they get to like explore the farm and stuff like that, and there are pigs on this farm, a lot of pigs. So they're exploring the farm, and she has a book in her hand, or the girls have like a book in their hand, and they were reading a book about like this princess wanting to become queen. But anyway, they get to this like shed and open it, and there are all these like bloodied fucking hooks and tools, and there's like just blood everywhere, and their mother is like, go back to the house, and he's like, they're like, but he said we could look around as long as we didn't go too far, and she's like, take care of us, go back to the house. She's already scary, so just do it, right? And they drop the book when they fucking run, and she picks it up, and she's like, become queen, so back at the house, they're all eating dinner as a family and discussing how excited, like he's like really excited to have them there, and the mother's like, oh, we're excited too, you're suspicious and I'm very weary of you, ma'am. Now, the mother, Belle, asks for Jessie to get the girls upstairs to bed. And she's like, yes. And he's like, oh, before you girls leave, mind you, she's standing in the doorway in the fucking shadows like a creep. Okay. So he's like, I'm really glad that you are here. It's been really rough these past few years, and I'm just so excited to get out of the darkness with you guys. And they're just like, all right. And so she asks them to, she asks Jessie to take them up to bed. So they're leaving, and Jessie hears like some suspicious words coming from her mother, but she gives him an orange, and he said that he's like never had one, so he's like super excited to have one. And she's like, Jessie, the kids, please. And she's like, oh shit, yes, mom. So she gets the girls up there, but she also sees like these super creepy eyes outside of the window. So she gets the girls upstairs, puts them in bed, but while they're all in their rooms, they hear this noise, and it sounds like Mr. Gunness, who is their papa. And so they come down the stairs, but the stairs creak on the very last one, because why wouldn't they? And the mother yells for them to go back to bed. So the girls run upstairs and she's like, not you, Jesse. Mother needs you. So she comes in the room and that man is dead with his head busted open, bleeding all over the floor. And she has a fucking meat cleaver covered in blood on the table. And she's like, oh, hey, hi. Hi. A meat grinder did it. Okay, and that's what you're going to tell the authorities, is a meat grinder did it, right? She's like, I want you to say, and she's like, Mr. Gunness, and then she's like, no, my papa. What I want you to say is that a meat grinder fell and hit my papa on the head and killed him. See that? And so, she says it. The authorities are like, okay, so, like, how high up was this meat grinder, sweetie? And she's like, it was really, really high. Not something that I could reach myself. And he's like, so, why would he, like, how did that happen? And she's like, well, he was warming his shoes by the fire and he got burned and he kind of just, like, fell backwards and it hit him on the head, hit my papa on the head. After that, it looks like a little funeral procession, but not really. It's just the mother, Belle, and Jesse, like, leaving. And she's like, people are going to stare. That's it. Nobody's going to say anything. She's like, but I need you to get the girls and let them know what happened, that shit was an accident, and that they are never to fucking speak of it. Do you understand? So that night, she's, of course, telling the girls, and they're like, a meat grinder did it? And she's like, yes, a meat grinder did it. And she was like, and they're trying to, like, ask questions. She's like, we're not supposed to speak of it ever again. A meat grinder fucking killed him, okay? Let's read a story. So she's trying to read them a story, and the middle child is like, mama killed him, then. She's like, oh my god. And she quite literally just fucking snaps. Trauma response. Okay? And she's like, yes, and she's going to do the same thing to you, and it was an accident. She's like, fucking say it. And so, she terrifies them into silence. And she realizes what she's done, and she's just like, I'm so sorry. And she leaves, and she is so upset. Outside, there is like this creature that digs up this skull because it's like become queen, and it picks up a skull that looks like a crown and puts it on its head. And one of the girls sees, I can't tell if it's Jessie or if it's one of the small ones, but one of them sees this super creepy, gross creature outside. And there are also pigs outside eating. I don't know if they're eating his body. I don't think that they ever got rid of his body because the police are, like, asking. So I don't think they ever got rid of his body. We'll see. But this is based on the serial killer Belle Gunness, who was an actual serial killer. And she was a serial killer from 1901 to 1908, and she was in Indiana. So she lured several men to her home and savagely murdered them for their money. So I think she married several times because her last name is Gunness. So I'm not sure if she like married them or what, but she did get money, lots of money from them, and she had avoided capture and trial. So a lot of her story is still untold, but she may be a subject for our like a horror podcast. I don't know, but this is just a fairy tale retelling of like what they could figure out with her. So based on real events. So the artwork is very interesting. They're Norwegian, because see, that is say it in Norwegian. So this should be very interesting. I'm enjoying these things that are based on serial killers. So this would be like the third one in like the past few weeks. So we shall see how it goes. But that is it for this episode of The Doctor's Office. If you have not caught an episode of the Doctor's Office podcast, please do, either on the actual like Doctor's Office podcast where you can hear it all, or there are a couple of episodes on the YouTube channel. So, but that is it, and I will see you guys at your next checkup.